So let's sit into the space. Let's start to elongate and lengthen our spine and our neck. Find a comfortable position for our legs, full or half lotus, or just gently crossed. Find a comfortable way to rest our hands, whether they are resting open palmed on our knees for receiving, or just gently resting down with that gentle pressure of the palm resting down on our knees or our thighs creates a grounding sensation. So lifting up that spine nice and tall, slightly tilting the pelvis, lifting that neck up and lowering the eyelids or closing the eyes and just being. So taking a nice deep breath in here and exhaling it out. Another deep breath in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. One more lovely deep breath in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Just keeping that cycle of breath going. Breathing in and out through the nose, or inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Feeling the rise and the fall of the chest, but remembering to fill up the belly, the waist, the hips. Just settling into this space. Just allowing sensations and thoughts to pass through. Hearing the sound of the breath on the inhale and the exhale. Feeling the effects of the breath, the slightly longer inhale and exhale, feeling the effects of that on your nervous system. Just allowing. Staying here. Not connecting to any passing thoughts, just allowing them to go through. Sometimes that's discipline in themselves, in itself. Just keeping the breath going, settling in, calming things down. Coming back to the breath, the awareness of the breath. We breathe all the time, but having this awareness of breath and how it can change and affect you. Emotions and stress and anxieties and energies. Another 3 deep inhales and exhales here. You can keep your hands on your knees or bring one hand to your belly to remind yourself to fill your belly. And keeping the eyes closed or eyelids lowered, we'll stay here and chant 3 Oms together. Taking a lovely deep breath in here. And a big exhale through the mouth. So that one more time, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. And slowly opening the eyes. Just glancing around you. Orienting yourself to your space. And then dropping the chin to the chest, keeping the back lovely and straight. And just circling the head here from side to side. Slow, big half circles. But keeping the spine nice and long. And if you want to put on your playlist here, you can, your music. Keeping that lovely movement through the neck, side to side. This time keeping the right ear close to the right shoulder, wrapping your right hand around your left ear and just gently pulling here. That's keeping that lengthened, tall sensation through the spine. So we get a lovely stretch in the side of the neck. Gazes forward. And then turning the head so your nose is closer to your armpit. Moving your hand a little bit. Taking the stretch more to the back of the neck. And then release and come to the other side. Left ear to left shoulder, gaze forward. Left hand wrapped around the right ear. Right arm can stretch down. Gazes forward. And then turning the head so the nose is close to the armpit and you're still creating some gentle pressure on the side and the back of the neck there. I can feel it all the way down through my shoulder. Then dropping the head to the center, chin to chest, wrapping the heads around the back of the neck, back of the head rather, and feeling the stretch in the back of the neck. Just gently pulling it forward. And then sitting up, keeping the hands where they are and just resting the head back. So we're stretching backwards, opening up the chest, creating a little back bend here and coming forwards again. Pulling the head forward, but keeping the back lovely and straight. And then moving so the head is back again. Feeling that warmth building up in the spine, kind of pressing the head back into the hands. And then releasing, then twisting. Left hand to the outside of the right knee, right hand behind you. And just pulling gently so you can take the twist a little bit further, as far as you want to, what works for you and what makes you feel comfortable. And then coming to the other side. And then bringing the right hand down just outside of the right hip, reaching that left arm up and over, staying for a few minutes, few breaths rather, keeping the gaze up. So looking up at the elbow crease or palm of the hand, and then switching sides. When you're there, taking a nice deep breath as you gaze up, breathing in and exhaling. And now moving from side to side, but gentle, soft movements, nothing jerky, nothing forceful, just seeing if you can get a little further each time and keeping that arm that's up stretched all the way through, reaching out through the fingertips and just moving the hips and waist side to side, seeing if you can come a little deeper each time, maybe bending the elbow and reaching side to side, waking things up, stretching things open, and then finding your way back to center, bringing the hands just behind your seat, fingers facing backwards, thumbs are on the outside, squeezing the shoulders together, pushing the pelvis and hips forward, dropping the head back, breathing here, really opening up that front line of the body, the heart center, the chest, breathing in. Breathing out, coming back to center, circling the shoulders, big circles, going back, big circles going forwards, moving everything around, moving the spine, the hips, the waist, moving the arms, the shoulders, circling the wrists, just bringing fluidity into the spine, the shoulders, and taking a lovely deep breath in here. And exhaling it out, coming to a tabletop and keeping that nice fluidity here, moving the hips here, big circles one way, big circles another way, energizing the body, energizing with your breath and movement together. Breath, body, mind, everything moving together, working together. Swaying from side to side, bringing the neck with you, keeping that fluidity in the neck. And just circling, there we go. Moving the knees out a little wider than the hips, slightly arching the spine here and traveling backwards with the seat moving back towards the heels. Just touching down for a moment and then scooping the pelvis forward, rolling through the spine, walking the hands forward and gently sinking the hips down into a soft upward facing dog. Bring the gaze up for a moment, breathe in. And then exhale, dropping the chin back down, rolling, starting at the shoulders, mid back, lower back, coming back down into a child's pose, and then moving forward again. So bringing this fluid, moving motion through the spine into an upward facing dog and back again. One more time, a nice spinal roll, coming forward, moving with the breath, sinking the hips, just staying here for a moment in an upward facing dog and moving the hips from side to side here, perhaps looking over one shoulder and then the other. Just moving your body, waking things up and connecting. There we go, coming back to a tabletop, moving the knees in a bit so they are directly below the hips, creating a stronger base and moving through a few cat-cows. Inhale as you arch, exhale as you round out. Inhale as you arch, exhale as you round out, keeping that going a couple of times. Then releasing, coming to stand on your knees, hands on hips, stretching the left leg out to the side. And you can keep your right hand on your right hip, reaching that left arm up and over, or the right hand can come down. Keeping that left hip pushed forward, feeling this deep stretch through the side of the waist, the hip, gazing up at the palm of the hand, the left hand, breathing here, gazing, reaching out, stretching, breathing, and releasing, bringing that left hand to the left hip, moving that left leg in, reaching that right leg out, stabilizing, pressing that foot down, keeping the left hand on the left hip and reaching that right arm up and over, or left hand can come down for a deeper stretch. Wherever you are, wherever you feel comfortable, breathing here, keep the gaze up, inhaling and exhaling, and release, coming back down into your tabletop, tucking the toes under, moving the hips back and forwards here. The knees can stay down or lifting the knees up a little bit. Just rocking back and forwards here, stretching out the feet, the toes. And then when you're ready, keeping those toes tucked under, pressing up into a downward facing dog. Stretching your legs here, one by one, bending and stretching. Moving the hips side to side, taking your gaze under each armpit to move the neck gently, but allowing the head to hang heavy at the same time. Just gentle movements, but keeping that movement going. Keeping the breath fluid too, silky smooth inhales and exhales. Keeping the breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Pressing the ground, drawing the shoulders away from the neck and the ears, and just keeping that soft, gentle pedaling motion going. Then stepping the feet as wide as the mat and reaching that left hand back outside of the right ankle or shin, looking up under the armpit, pulling gently back. Going to where you can go, what's comfortable for you, and releasing and switching sides. Right hand reaches back, looking up under the armpit, gently pulling, bending that elbow, pulling, looking up under the armpit, breathing here, and releasing. Maybe lifting one hand up at a time and circling that wrist.
And then bringing the feet closer together, hip distance apart. And on the inhale, reaching that right leg up high behind you. Really, really high, just lifting it up. And then opening out the hip and bending at the knee. Staying here, allowing the weight of the hip to just pull back, or beginning circles from the ankles, circles at the hips. One way and then the other way. Big circles. Going back the other way again. And squaring the hips. Stepping that right foot through to land between the hands at the top of the mat. Bringing the back knee down. And then just straightening and bending into that front knee. So head is forward. Flexing the right foot. Just bending and straightening here. Hips are moving back and forwards. Feeling the heat start to build up, but moving in a gentle way. Backwards and forwards with the breath. Inhaling and exhaling. This time, as we straighten the right leg, we stay for a few breaths, allowing the stretch to become a little deeper in that hamstring, folding forward, allowing the head to just hang heavy here. Feeling the stretch all the way up the back of the leg, through the glutes. Breathing here, inhaling and exhaling. This time bending into that front knee and sinking a bit lower into that lunge. Moving the hips gently and bringing the hands to the hips, just allowing your hips to sink a little deeper here. Reaching the hands behind you, squeezing the hands together, squeezing the shoulders together, and then allowing yourself to arch back just a little bit. Really squeezing everything together. Head can stay in line with the cervical spine or drop all the way back. Breathing here. Inhale, exhale, release, bringing the hands either side of the front foot. Tuck the back toe under, step that right leg back and just pedal it out a couple of times. And then on the next inhale, lift up that left leg behind you. All the way up, bend at the knee, open out the hip. And just find some stillness here, or start moving through the ankle, the hip. Big circles one way, big circles the other way. Articulating through the ball and socket. And then squaring at the hips, stepping that left foot through to land between the hands, bringing the back knee down and moving the hips back and forwards as you straighten that left leg backwards and forwards, bending, keeping that left foot flexed as you bend and straighten. Keeping the hips squared as you move them back and forwards. And then this time, as you straighten that left leg, just stay here for a moment, straightening that left leg as you fold forward. Head just hangs down. Hips are squared, left foot is flexed. Feeling that stretch all the way through the left leg, up the back, through the glutes. Folding forward here, breathing into tight spaces, fresh oxygen. Inhale and exhale. This time bending into that left leg, sinking the hips a little bit deeper, bringing the hands to the hips, just finding that spot where you're still and stable, and then reaching the arms behind you, interlacing the fingers, squeezing the shoulders together, sinking a little deeper, arching back, head can drop back, arms can stretch back or rest on the back of the thigh. Just staying here for a moment, squeezing the shoulders, breathing here. Inhaling and exhaling, releasing the hands forward, either side of the left foot, tucking the toes under and stepping that left leg back. Walking the feet forward, halfway up the mat. Micro bending at the knees and just folding forward here. Head and shoulders and arms are just hanging forward. You can straighten and bend one knee or just keep that still place. Grasp opposite elbows and begin to just sway side to side. Nice deep breaths here. Lovely deep breaths. Just do 2 or 3 spinal undulations. So bending the knees a little bit deeper. Roll halfway up, head and arms hanging, and then exhale as you bend forwards, extending your spine, gazes forward, and then allowing the head to hang heavy, just roll up halfway again. And then exhale as you fold forward, lengthening the spine. A nice rolling motion through the spine and the neck. One more time, rolling up halfway. Exhale as you fold forward. This time allow everything to hang forward, and this time we're going to roll all the way up to standing. Arms are hanging heavy, shoulders and head are hanging heavy. As you come to stand, roll the shoulders up and back. Reach the arms forward, up and up in front of you. And then exhale as you circle them round and down. One more time, a nice big circle with the arms, reaching them forward and up. And then exhale, round and down, stepping to the top of your mat, stepping the feet together, drawing the hands in front of the heart center into a prayer, lowering the eyelids or closing the eyes, setting an intention for your practice, dedicating your practice, dedicating the benefits of the practice to those around you and to you in this circle of communal energy. Breathing here, inhaling. Exhale, arms by your side, beginning Surya Namaskar 8. Inhale, pressing the palms, reaching the arms up in front of you. Exhale, fold forward in this body prayer. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look forward. Exhale, step it back, lower down, Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale, press back to downward facing dog. The body prayer, the morning prayer, the sun salutation, the rebirth and the new beginnings of every day, every month, and every time we need it, every time we need to leave some things behind and start afresh. Breathing here, inhaling and exhaling. Staying in a nice still place or finding gentle movements that you need to make. Inhaling and exhaling, bending the knees. Inhale, step or jump the feet forward to meet the hands, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, press the palms, reaching the arms up overhead, gazing up at the hands. Exhaling, arms by your side, Tadasana, nice, still and strong in your mountain pose. Inhale, pressing the palms, reaching the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward and touch down. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look forward. Exhale, stepping it back, lower down through Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. And pressing it back to downward facing dog. Allowing the head to hang, looking back through the space in the legs. Feet are about hip distance apart. You can wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, make sure you're not gripping anything too hard. Still finding that fluidity. Gently nodding your head yes, gently shaking it no. Or not shaking it, just moving it side to side. Drawing the shoulders away from the neck of the ears. This pose is so familiar to us all, but very active with lots going on. Lots of things we can remind ourselves. Coming back to the breath, breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale here. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, step or jump the feet forward to meet the hands. And exhale, fold forward, bow down. Inhale, pressing the palms, reaching the arms up overhead. And exhale, arms by your side. Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, press the palms, reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, fold forward, straighten the legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look forward. Exhale, step or jump back, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot forward, coming into warrior one. Bend that front knee, reach the arms up, gaze is up. Turning to the back of your mat, open out to a warrior two. So just shuffle the feet around, face the back of your mat in a warrior two. Bending the left knee, facing the back of the mat. Gaze down the back of the mat and then reverse the warrior. So keep that left knee bent, pointing to the back of the mat. Reverse the warrior. Right hand slides down the back of the right thigh. Reach that left arm up. Don't lose the bend in the front knee. Breathe here. And then exhale, bring the hands down either side of the front foot. Step it back, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. We're facing the back of the mat. Exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Step that left foot forward, coming into warrior one on the left side. Reach the arms up overhead. Gaze is up. And then opening out the arms into a warrior two, but turning to the front of the mat. So turning the feet, bending into that right knee. Gaze is over the front middle finger. Bend that knee and then reverse the warrior. Allow that left hand to slide on the back of the leg. Bend that right knee, reach that arm up and over, gaze it up. And then release, bringing both hands down. Either side of the front foot, step it back, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Breathing here, inhaling and exhaling. One more inhale here. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, step or jump the feet forward to meet the hands. Exhale, fold forward here. Inhale, bend the knees, press the palms, sit low in your chair, reach the arms up overhead, but stay here. Keep the knees bent, keep the seat back, keep the gaze up, breathing in. And exhale, fold forward, touch down. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look up. Exhale, step or jump the feet back, lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Step that right foot forward, coming into warrior one on the right side. Breathe here, inhale. Exhale, open out to warrior two. Hold it here. And then coming up into a high lunge. So lift the back heel up, reach both arms up. Sink a little deeper into this lunge, but reach up at the same time, stretching your body up and down at the same time. Reach those arms up. Bend at the elbows, open out the arms into goddess arms, squeeze the shoulders together, sink the hips, open up the front line of the body, drop the head back just a little bit. Breathe here, inhale. Exhale, draw the hands together into a prayer in front of the heart center and start to push the weight into that front leg and move through into a warrior three. So straightening that front leg, squaring the hips, finding the balance here into your warrior three. Squaring the hips, keeping the gaze fixed, breathing here. And then bending slightly the left knee, start to lift up the torso and draw that left knee up and in front of you. Grabbing that left knee, just holding it here for a moment, finding the balance, finding something to focus on, your drishti that's not moving, and moving from here into a tree pose. So opening out that left knee to the side, left foot to the inside of the right thigh or in front, and reaching the hands up or pressing them into a prayer, finding your tree pose and just finding that balancing sensation, that grounding down, that rooting down to rise up, reaching the arms up, fixing your gaze, breathing here. Inhale and exhale. On the next inhale, draw that left knee up and in front of you again, just holding it there for a moment. And then start to move that left leg behind you, coming into dancing warrior. So grabbing that left foot with the left hand, really kicking that foot into the hand before folding. So we want to find that kicking sensation, reaching the right arm up, but kicking that foot, then folding forward. So we're creating space behind us, in front of us, finding the gaze, breathing here, inhaling and exhaling. Start to move up, then release, shake everything out, shake out the hands, shake out the feet. And then start to bend the knees, press the palms together, reach the arms up in front of you as you inhale. Sitting low in your chair. Exhale, fold forward, touch down. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look forward. Exhale, step it back, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward, coming into warrior one on the left side, Virabhadrasana. Press the palms, reach the arms up. Exhale, open out to warrior two, facing the front. Don't lose a bend in that left knee. And then come into a high lunge, lifting that back heel up, lifting the right arm up, right arm and left arm are lifting up. Back heel is up, sinking down through the hips. Sing without collapsing, just allowing your hips to move down towards the mat as your arms reach up, holding it here for a moment, then bending at the elbows, squeezing the shoulders together, dropping the head back just slightly, squeezing here, opening up the front line, and then drawing the hands together into a prayer in front of the heart center. Pushing forward into that left leg, finding your way into a warrior three. So squaring off the hips, folding forward, finding a nice, strong, straight line here. Arms can be any variation you want, or in a prayer, gaze is fixed. Then start to slightly bend that right knee as we lift up and right knee draws up in front of us. Just holding it here for a moment in front. Just finding that grounding through the left foot and then moving from here into a tree, opening out the right knee to the side, right foot to the inside of the left thigh, and finding your way into your tree here. Hands can come into a prayer in front of the heart center or lifting up. Just grounding down through your left foot, dropping the shoulders, gaze is fixed, finding your breath here. Inhale and exhale. Another nice deep breath here. Inhale and exhale. Start to draw that right knee up and in front of you, holding it here for a moment, and then kicking it back behind you. For your dancing warrior, kick that right foot into that right hand. Kicking, 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 reaching that left arm up, and then begin to fold forward. But kicking, 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 kicking. Really kicking back, creating a strong feeling here. Breathing here. And then releasing, coming to stand and just shaking everything out, shaking the hands out, shaking the feet out, moving from side to side, rolling the shoulders back, and then slowly start bending the knees, sitting the seat back, pressing the palms together, reaching the arms up in front of you. Breathing in and exhale as you fold forward and touch down. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look forward. Exhale, step or jump back, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Just finding your place here in your downward dog and moving into a side plank. So turning onto the outside edge of the left foot, making sure the left shoulder is stacked over the left wrist, stacking that right leg on top of that left leg, reaching the right arm up, keeping the hips up, staying here, or any variation with your top leg, and then stepping your right foot just behind your left and coming into a wild thing, pushing the hips up, reaching that arm back, pushing the hips up, breathing here, inhaling, exhaling, releasing, bending at that right knee, and then threading it through, coming into a fallen star. So opening out to the other side. Left arm is reaching up, gazing up. Breathe here. And release, bringing that left hand back down, stepping back into a downward dog, and just moving through, pedaling the legs. And then moving to the other side, coming to the outside edge of the right foot, stacking the right shoulder over the right wrist. Many variations. If you need your bottom knee down for more support, that's absolutely fine. Reaching that left arm up, gazes up, and then stepping that left leg behind you, pushing the hips up, reaching that left leg back, breathing here. And then exhale, releasing that left hand down, threading that left foot through, coming into a fallen star, opening out to the other side, reaching the right arm up, and then releasing, coming into a downward dog. Just pedaling out the legs here, moving from side to side. Reaching that right leg back up behind you. Bending the knee, stepping it through to land between the hands at the top of the mat. Bringing the back knee down. Hands to hips for a moment, and then reaching the left arm up and twisting it to the right side. Hands compressed into a prayer, or bind or open out. The back knee can stay down or tuck the back toes under, lengthening that back leg. Gazes up. Breathe here. Lovely. Taking a moment here, breathing here. And then exhale, release, bringing the hands to the inside of the right foot. And just finding your way into a lizard here. Just moving the hips back and forwards and side to side. Bringing that back knee down, if need be, and coming down to elbows and forearms. If that's available to you, if that's comfortable. Just moving the hips from side to side. Any variations here that you want to make, staying here, down on your elbows and forearms, or bringing the right hand to the inside of the right knee and just pressing that leg away from you. Keeping some gentle movements, that fluid feeling. And releasing the hands to the inside of the right foot, lengthening the arms, tucking the back toes under and stepping the right foot back. Inhaling the left leg up high behind you. Bending at the knee, stepping it through, bringing the back knee down, lifting the torso, hands to hips, reaching that right arm up and twisting to the left side. Whatever you did on the other side, whatever you were doing with your arms. Or maybe it is different on this side to the other. We're not completely the same from one side to the other. So it's about really listening to your body, your intuition, and what's right for you here today. Releasing the hands to the inside of the left foot, finding your way into a lizard. So gently moving back and forwards here. Elbows and forearms, knee can come down. Just moving from side to side. Can bring your left hand to the inside of your left knee and just gently push the leg away from you. Breathing here. Inhaling and exhaling, releasing, bringing the hands back to the inside of the left foot, tucking the back toes under and stepping that left foot back. Breathing here. In your downward dog. From here, we're going to step or jump into yogi squat, malasana. Feet can step either side of the hands or gently jump. If we're jumping, we want to land softly. And then we're keeping that movement going from side to side as we lift. Yeah, that's it. Lift from one side to the other. And then finding a still point with our legs, just bringing our hands to the inside and stretching the right arm, really almost bringing the shoulder to the inside of the knee and stretching it out and reaching that left arm up and open, staying here or binding. Keeping the gaze up, sinking a little bit further through the hips, taking a deep breath here. And then exhale, releasing, coming to the other side. Bringing that left shoulder inside of the knee and the thigh and stretching it back and round, reaching that right arm up, gaze is up. Staying here or binding. And then releasing, bringing both hands to the inside, pressing the hands into a prayer. Shoulders opening out the knees, lengthening the spine here. Lowering the eyelids, but keeping the gaze to the inside of the forehead, the third eye, and just settling in here for a moment. Breathing here. Lengthening the spine and neck. Breathing here. And then opening the eyes, bringing the left hand in front of you, right hand behind, and sitting down on your seat. Finding your way into Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees open. Lengthening the spine here, pulling onto your ankles to really lengthen that spine. Pulling the heels closer to the pubic bone, interlacing the fingers, wrapping them around the toes, and lengthening the spine here. Two ways of doing this. Folding forward and rounding out through the spine, dropping the head. Or keeping the spine really lengthened and tilting forward from the pelvis. Keeping the gaze forward. Using the elbows to press onto the inside of the thighs. And just using your hands on your feet to pull a little bit further forward. Just folding a little bit further here. If you're lengthening the spine, keep the gaze quite far in front of you. Or if you're folding forward, resting the forehead down. And then release, come up. Janu Shushasana, keep that right leg in. Adjusting the foot, left leg straight out in front of you, flexing the foot. Reach the arms up and in front of you. Take a breath in and then exhale as you fold forward. Rest the forehead down. The head can hover. Rest down. Breathe here. Inhaling. And exhaling. One more nice deep breath here. And release, come up, switch legs. Lengthen that right leg, draw the left leg in. Reach the arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Breathing here. And then come up, release. And then come to stand on your knees. Hands on hips. Just moving through camel 2 times. Hands on hips. Start to push the hips forward. As the hips move forward, puff out the chest and allow the head to drop back. Hands can remain right here on the hips. Head can move back as far as you want it, or keep pushing through the hips and reaching the hands back at the same time to grab hold of the heels. Keep the hips pushing forward. Breathe here.
And then exhale, release. Fold forward into a child's pose. Opening out the knees, resting the forehead down, creating a little pillow with your hands. All forehead rests down on the mat. Just take a moment here. Inhaling and exhaling. Then lift up again. Second one, hands on hips. See where you are. The toes, the tops of the feet can be pressed down, or the toes tucked under to lift the heels up. Stop pushing the heels forward. Reaching back for the heels, pushing the hips forward. Staying here. Breathing here. Inhaling. And exhaling. When you're ready, release, come forward, coming into your child's pose just for a moment. And from here, coming to laying on your back. Moving into two back bends of choice, bridge or wheel, or on your yoga wheel. Bending the knees, soles of the feet are close to the seat. Just brush the back of the heels with the fingertips. And start to lift up the hips, pressing the feet into the mat. Interlacing the fingers underneath you, squeezing the shoulders together, or bending at the elbows and creating a shelf, hands on hips, pushing the hips up, breathing here. Inhaling and exhaling. Coming back to the breath. And then releasing for one round of breath. And then coming up into your second one and staying for 5 breaths. Your length of breath, your breath count. Just keeping those hips pushed up. Breathing here. Pressing the feet into the mat. And then when you're ready, lowering the hips down, bending the knees, drawing the knees into the chest, and moving from side to side, backwards and forwards, holding out the knees and start to rock up and down here. And then come all the way up to seated, forward fold. Moving the flesh out from under the legs, flexing the feet, reach the arms up overhead here. And then exhale, fold forward. Peace fingers wrapped around big toes, hands wrapped around ankles or calves. And just gently pulling yourself forward here. With every exhale, coming a little bit further forward. Breathing here. Flexing feet, folding forwards. Feeling the neck release. And then start to ease out, coming up, and then coming all the way back to lay on your backs. Coming into shoulder stand, lifting the legs up. If not all the way up in shoulder stand, just lifting the legs up, support the hips with the hands just below the hips, otherwise lifting the legs all the way up. Bending the elbows, pressing the hands into the lower back, keeping the gaze up. Maybe moving the feet, wiggling the toes, circling the ankles. Moving the legs if you want to. Bending the knees, bending and straightening. And then when you're ready, allowing the legs to roll over the head into your plow pose. Toenails are touching the floor. Hands are interlaced. Shoulders are squeezed together. Or hands can support the lower back.
Feeling that nice stretch in the back of the neck and the shoulders, constricting the throat a bit, but just keeping that deep inhale and exhale going through. And then bending the knees either side of the ears. And then slowly begin to roll out vertebrae by vertebrae, moving through with control, bringing the legs all the way down, pressing the hands into the mat, and finding your way into Matsyasana, bending the elbows, pressing the hands and forearms into the mat, dropping the head back, opening up the chest, breathing in through the nose and out through a wide open mouth. Inhaling through the nose and out through the mouth. One more time. Inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. Release down. Drawing the knees into the chest. Crossing the legs one over the other and dropping the legs to one side as you look over the opposite shoulder. Just feeling that twisting and opening in the lower spine. And then drawing the knees into the chest. If you cross them, switching that over, my left leg crossed over my right leg, my knees are dropping to my right side and I'm looking over my left shoulder. And then coming back to center, lengthening the legs, finding your way into Shavasana, feet fall open, arms are wide, palms facing the ceiling, moving your head from side to side. Allowing your breath to become a little bit more shallow here. And breathing. Coming back to your breath. Starting to bring some movement back into your fingers and your toes.
Reaching your arms up overhead. Taking a deep breath in here. Inhaling and exhaling out with a sigh. Rolling over to one side. Finding your way to a seated position. Keeping your eyelids lowered or eyes closed. Together we'll close the practice singing Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may my thoughts, words, and actions somehow contribute to the freedoms and happiness of all. Bringing your hands to a prayer in front of your heart center, bowing your head to your hands, knowing and trusting that the true teacher lies inside of you. Namaste.